Drum nerds, drum nerdesses, like and subscribe. If you don't want to see any of the absolute nerdiness that is about to unfold on you, go about 4 minutes into the video, give or take, and that'll be about when the rush reaction is. But this is my dissertation. What is the most effective natural drumming system? Now, I had to obviously argue my point that my technique, which I don't need to go into right now, is better than the kingpins and the kings thereof drumming technique. Whether I believe it is or isn't, that's the point of a dissertation, to prove the more, I would suppose maybe a more unpopular position to show that you're able to defend your point. In any event, I'm going to read the quick brief intro about Sanford A. Moeller. I'm going to get behind, do some Moeller technique, hopefully. It's been a few since I've done it. And then we'll get into the reaction. So, Sanford Augustus, was an American-born rudimental drummer/educator, /meaning also. Moeller's approach is all about getting the most out of each stroke while expending the least amount of energy. So as you make the initial stroke, it sets the arm up to then get a quiet yet effective stroke, known as the tap stroke. So you go down, tap. See? We go down, tap. This in turn puts the player in the position to get a free stroke known as the upstroke. Again, a quiet yet effective stroke. So now we've tapped. We have to reset the arm to come back up to get the next downstroke. So we might as well break at the pinky, which is the fulcrum in the Moeller technique, and we're coming up. So you heard that. So all together, right? Perfect. So with this being done correctly, the individual is able to get 3 strokes with the energy of 1. So the technique uses a fluid motion with the arms and wrist alike, with the pinky, as I previously said, being used as the fulcrum and or gripping force. Right, so we can go into Gladstone and Stone in the next couple videos, but that is effectively what we're looking at here. Now I'll get behind and riff. I suspect that we're looking at this because those heads back in the day, this is the Civil War era, they needed to rely on sending messages which were done through rudiments, effectively. You go back to the Swiss Army triplet, and those heads were very, very non-responsive. They were animal hides with string tension, not lugs, not metal lugs, no lug locks, no die cast or triple flanged hoops. This was wooden hoop, string to pull it down. You needed to get the most out of a very non-responsive head, and getting these free life hacks of some, basic anatomy that's going to drop as you pick it up by moving the fulcrum to the back instead of here. Like it will, but it'll be less so, right? So we're going to get behind. Hello. Let's see if I can I've had it's been a bit of a palaver getting all this set up because I've invited you into my bedroom. So we're going to riff, we're going to do some stuff, and then we're going to get to that rush video. But this will all be done as best through the Moeller technique as possible. I'm going to hold 4 to the floor. Right, now, we're going to get to that rush song, but hopefully what was visible, if at all, and I can certainly speak from what I felt, all of the pressure, honestly, you have my word, all of the pressure from that, we're going to go and do the rush now, all that pressure was in my pinkies, right? So, it's an interesting feeling. I personally... Right, drum nerds, drum nerdesses, sorry about that pause when I picked up the computer to bring it into this room. It kind of, as you could tell, it stopped. My thumb accidentally clicked the pause button. So we're going to crack on with Rush, Tom Sawyer. Now this is the professor. This is the best drummer of all time. And I'm prepared to fight on that hill as long as I must. I think I have a lot of people up there with me fighting and defending this man's excellence. May he rest in peace. Truly the most phenomenal drummer that this world has ever been graced with. 100%. And I have, by the way, caveat, I always say, I have actually heard this song many times. This was one of my exams at school. So most of the time, unless I say otherwise, most of the time I've never heard the song. This one, I live this song. I did all right on the exam.
A Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
See, now the trick with this, the bit that's so tricky about this is Neil is using 16ths. You could be lazy and use 8ths or quarters to get the same. No, you wouldn't actually. You wouldn't get the same groove. You would get a similar groove, but you just wouldn't. It's just incredible. I'm just. I was sat in the armchair with one of my girlfriend's family members, uncles, and we had a whiskey each, and we just vibed so hard to this song. You need to do that. Genuinely, this is a song of songs. His groove is incredible. As I say, I did it for an exam, so I kind of know a lot of it inside and out, but he's just, I'm so community lost a god. That double flam and a Rickenbacker bass. What do you say? Now, what's important to note there? Here, I'll show you. So, this is back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. I'm not saying this is from the 80s. I could be very wrong when this was recorded. But those are L brackets. Those are L brackets on the toms. So, they're not tubes going in. So, the drums have been really well mounted there because of that L bracket use, and it has memory locks as well. But I'm just gonna focus on the drums now because this man deserves our respect.
What you say about his company is what you say about society. Catch the mist, catch the myth, catch the mystery, catch the drift.
So that bass drum.
The world is love and life are deep. Maybe as the skies are white.
The flams are so tight.
Today's Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you.
And 7/8.
When the space he invades, he gets by on you.
So that pattern, that has probably got to be, I would argue, that has probably got to be one of the most famous drum grooves ever written. That is certainly, again, I would say, elevating it, that is the most famous 7/8 pattern. Those two hi-hat barks, it's just, honestly, as a drummer, and if you're not, then I would highly recommend you become one to get into this. But playing that groove, just holding that down to a metronome, just playing, and that might not have even been 7/8. I'm just so hyped up on this, but playing that groove feels so good. You can see he's holding down, Geddy Lee is holding down what looks like he could, I'm not going to say specifically, but it looks like he's just doing an open G. Don't quote me on that, but he's certainly playing just an open-ended note. I never noticed that until now. This is where we get wild. Yes, Alex Lifeson, I madly respect you as a guitarist. You are a legend, and this solo is I don't swear, so I'm not going... Well, I do swear, so I'm trying to not on this, but so unreal. But that drum pattern, he has taken the 16ths now over to the ride. Now, the thing that is so tricky with this Mr. Purt is he basically holding 16ths, and this is what's so hard about this song. He's holding 16ths through arguably in the 70 to 80, maybe even 85% of the song in total. And not every time that it changes does it go to a more breathable subdivision. It doesn't always just go to an eighth. Sometimes it will be 16ths, into 16ths, into 16ths. Here you get your eighths. So the engine on that right hand, and this is where we start looking at molar technique, to get those free strokes, you need to be able to get your engine working. And you need to recruit smaller muscles, because if you're just doing that from arm, you're not getting anything. You're going to burn out quick. So this is where you get fingers, you get wrist, you get that whip. This man was we know he was phenomenal. And that bass drum, it's the same pattern as the beginning. Loosely. It does change a bit. And here we're getting into the drum solo. If you don't like this channel because I drum nerd out about everything and get really excited about it all, you've not found the right channel. But I'm going to keep doing me, you keep doing you. What you eat doesn't make me go to the toilet. I think he's using his Paragon ride. I don't know if he's invented that yet, but he certainly did develop a Paragon ride, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a very delicious cymbal. I don't like Sabian, I'll be honest. I'm not going to say they're awful. I personally much prefer and love Zildjian. So, you know, each to their own, obviously, but his Paragon cymbal, I have to hold my hand up, is phenomenal. Here's the drum part, and we will just air everybody in this video right now is going to air drum this, I guarantee it, and I will be going myself. I don't like drum solos. I've already said that, but that is... Honestly, you can't look at that and not go, holy crap, that is drum excellent personified. I was trying to put my headphones on and air drum, and everybody was air drumming. It's just that thing that you do. I don't care if you're a drummer, a guitarist, a non-musician, which is basically a bass player. Yes, they don't come around very often, but when they do, we really lean into them. When you hear that, you just go, oh my God, I have to do it. I've been possessed, I've been compelled. And this might be a really long, nerdy video, and it might not be very much viewed, but this respect needs to be paid to this man, these three men. Oh.
No, his mind is not for rent to any god or government. Always hopeful yet discontent. Those changes aren't permanent. Oh, changes.
Now there's a paradiddle. There's a paradiddle on his ride, which again isn't impossible to do, as I say. If somebody is as drumming banal as I can play this song and be assessed under it, and my cohort can do the same. That's not to diminish by any means. That's not to diminish Neil Peart's greatness, and that's not to elevate us up to Neil Peart's status. You got to be careful what you say on the internet, because a lot of you people seem to just not really have much time, or nothing but time, should I say. But that paradiddle, it just breaks up the groove. It's very inventive, because you're just going to play through that, but what he's doing is effectively playing a fill without cluttering up the song and making it sound it's too filly. So you got Ginger Baker, if I'm not mistaken, for Cream. It was a fill every half a bar, and there's nothing wrong with that and such, but that was just fill, so you couldn't let things pull you. Whereas Neil Peart has now come along, and he's playing a fill that is also the groove. So you don't get lost, but you get a bit excited. As you can tell, I'm very excited. Here it is. Now, you know I'm not a singer, and I know that's going to put everybody off. But I'll tell you right now, I'm flipping shit at singing. But I'm not shit at having a good time. Back to 7/8. There's so much to be said. There's so much to be unpacked and understood. This video is no doubt gone on far too long, so I won't. But if anybody wants, well, 12 minutes plus the 4, yeah, so we're looking at a 16er. So, look, at the end of the day, there's so much that needs to be discussed about Neil Peart. And if anybody wants, what we could do is a live stream, because I can do those now with the high-speed internet, but we could do a live stream and we could just break down. We can have questions after questions, and I'll answer every single one I can. And maybe I won't be able to answer, but somebody in the chat will be able to, because we're not all experts entirely, you know. But I have a pretty good background to allow me to talk on this topic. So it's honestly filled me with so much joy listening to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush off the cobwebs and get back to practicing that song. Because again, I played it for my exam and then I kind of just jammed it here and there. So I'll try and see if I could get that on this channel at some point. I'm not going to promise when, but don't forget, this channel is not just reactions. I am not a reactor, I am a drummer. And it's really, if you're not into creativity styled things, if you're not creative, it's hard to understand, possibly. I feel very stifled not to be able to do any playing and only educating in this sense of the reactions. So I will be putting this channel, as it was always intended, to be me playing, doing lessons with rudiments, and now reacting. That was a new thing that just came out of nowhere. But do something nice for somebody, go out and be great. Oh, that's not copyrighted yet, Mr. Shaw. And again, do something nice for somebody you don't know. Pass on politeness. It's very free, it's very easy, and make somebody's day a little bit better because you gave them some happiness. Right, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for sticking around if you have this far. Let's get going with some more Rush. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. You truly are the best of the best and a legend, a god among men. Keep your stick on the ice.